Good morning, guys. As you can see, today I am playing Dark Souls 3. It finally came in. I know I haven't made any videos about it, but I think my first video will be a review. So here we go. So Dark Souls 3 takes place, as it says in the opening, in the transitory land of Lothric. Now, a transitory land, if I'm not mistaken, no one comments, but it means a land that's kind of in the middle where people will go through to go to different lands. So in this game, there are a lot of items from Dark Souls 1, Dark Souls 2, which I absolutely love. Like full-on references. As you can see, I'm in the brass set. I've got Smo's hammer. It's great. There's tons of weapons that you can get in this game. Tons of different builds. So it will be, I think, FromSoft really learned a lot from Bloodborne, because Bloodborne, it was a good game, but there wasn't that many weapons. Like, even when you got to late game, there wasn't a whole lot of weapons for you to choose from to use. Basically, if you were strength, it came down to, okay, you're going to use the Kirk hammer until you get the great sword, Ludwig's Holy Blade, and that sword is the best weapon for strength characters just because of the stat scaling, and it gets a lot of stats from dex as well. So that kind of sucked, but you know, the Old Hunters DLC really added weapons, but that's not what this is about. This video is about whether or not you should buy Dark Souls 3 tomorrow. Short answer, yes, absolutely. Long answer, this is probably my favorite Souls game now. I've been playing Souls games, just for a little backstory. I started out when Dark Souls 3 released. I had a friend in high school who was like, "Hey man, you should try this game. I think you'll really like it." I tried the game. I'd never got past the Undead Burg. I can't remember if I ever beat the Tauros demon, but I did not ever get past it, and I was like, man, this game sucks. Screw it. I didn't play until I think it went on sale when I was in college, so I bought it on the PC. I was like, okay, I'll give it another shot. I absolutely loved it. I beat the whole game, and as you know, when you first beat a Souls game, you get this amazing feeling of accomplishment when you beat a boss or when you beat the game, and just not many games out on the market do it like a Souls game. So, you know, after I beat Dark Souls 1, I was in love. So, fast forward, and here we are today playing Dark Souls 3 on the Japanese copy I imported, so that way I could, you know, try to get a video out before it released so I could, you know, get a review out. But, as far as the technicalities of the game runs on the Bloodborne engine. If you're a PC person and you've never played the Bloodborne game, or if you're, you know, playing on Xbox One, Bloodborne was a much faster Souls game. I kind of almost liken it to something like a hack and slash, where there's not a lot of blocking. You're just kind of like just going ham on a boss, and then if you get hurt, you gotta go even harder because then you can heal. So it doesn't have that, but you can tell it's in the same engine because a lot of the one-hand weapons will hit a lot faster than they did in previous Souls games. Enemies can be staggered a lot easier, which is very good. Like, this is probably the best Souls game to use one-hand weapons for, just because of how, you know, playing Dark Souls 2, one-hand weapons were pretty good, but they never staggered anything, whereas in this game, you know, it seems like the poise has been kind of lowered for enemies. Also with shielding, it seems like they took it also from Bloodborne, because even though there's like a lot of shields, and shields are really good, it seems like they are a lot weaker than before. It's hard to explain. Like, when you were, you know, blocking in, I guess my previous example would be Dark Souls 1, because that's what I was playing before this one came out. You know, you felt like you could pretty well block anything, and then you're pretty defensive. Now you feel a little bit more like when you're blocking with the wooden shield in Bloodborne, where it's a little bit less stable, even though your shield is still stable. So the roll though makes up for it. The rolling mechanic is amazing in this game. It is they tweaked it a lot more in, say for example, Dark Souls 1. When you were trying to like roll at a specific angle, I found that it was hard to roll at an enemy if you weren't rolling directly at them or to the left or right. Now they've added a lot more of you can roll at a specific angle around an enemy's attack, which makes it a lot easier to dodge. This is probably the most accessible Souls game. So if you're just starting out the Souls games and you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to go back and play 1 because, let's be honest, if you're getting a Call of Duty, which is it's nothing like that, you're not going to be like, okay, I'm going to play Call of Duty, I'm going to go back to Call of Duty 1. Like, I think at this point, it's best to expect people to maybe fall in love with the newer games and then be open to going back and playing the older games up till like Demon's Souls. But so far it's been really good that way. Like, rolling to dodge attacks is so much more, I want to say, easier now. Like, it's once you get the rolling mechanic down, you are a lot, it's a very good way of dodging attacks, to the point where it's like maybe it's better than even shielding. As far as builds go, I don't know if you'll be able to see, I am doing a pure strength build, obviously. You probably can't read any of the lettering unless you're Japanese. But there is, I want to say, I'll see if I can remember there. Vitality, attunement, endurance, vigor. So it's like Dark Souls 2, where they split up endurance and carry weight into specifically different categories. And in this game, it is like Dark Souls 2, where the roll, all you need to achieve a light roll is 70% or lower. There is no more. Well, let me see if, I don't think the rolls change. I can quickly unequip some items and see, but so far this is the normal roll, which that's really good. It's basically a light roll. No, that's not what I meant to do. But as you can see, the emotes also, you get a lot more emotes in this game, and a lot more frequently. Like, I got 5 or so emotes in, like, I want to say the first like 2 hours of the game, which is crazy. Like, the first 2 hours of Dark Souls, you get like what, pray, shrug, and then like, well, what is it? And then you don't really get an emote for a while. But let me see if I can equip my items. Also, the control scheme for the PS4 is like Bloodborne, where it is you press the start button to get to your options menu, but then you can do, okay, so you can also press the right side of the touchpad. The left side activates your emotes. But yeah, as you can see, it's like Dark Souls 2, where the lighter you are, it affects how far you can roll. So, anything below 70%, you are, just going further with your rolls, so you can get more out of the way. Trying to think what else. For the souls, like boss souls, they've gone to a Dark Souls 2 style, where you don't need to upgrade weapons to a certain power to get the boss weapons. You just basically you turn them into this king over here, who's there from the beginning of the game, and he's got a lot of different weapons that he can give you for the souls. because you know, I've been playing this through blind, I did not actually save any of the souls. I've just kind of been leveling up, so I can't really say how good the boss weapons are. I can't really say what the weapon arts are like. But as far as weapon arts, I really like how they implemented them in this game. Basically, weapon arts are a good way to complement your attacks, but they are not required. So, you know, you can go through the whole game without using weapon arts. As you can see, my blue bar is very small. I don't use weapon arts a whole lot. The main weapon I use is the Butcher Cleaver, which is ironic because I've never really used it in a Souls game as my main first weapon, but it has a very good strength scaling, as you can see. And its weapon art is, let me show you. So this is weapon art, and this, once you activate it, you get healed per strike. So in the beginning it's a lot. At this point it's not a whole lot, but you know what, it's nice to, you know, complement your Estus Flask if you don't have a whole lot of damage taken and you just want to heal a little bit. This is a good way of doing it. I really like this weapon. It upgrades with regular Titanite. The new Titanite upgrading is 2, 4, 6. So keep that in mind. It is 1 less than Bloodborne and a little bit more than I think Dark Souls 2. So it's a lot of the technicalities of the game. I know I've just been sitting around Firelink Shrine, but I don't want to spoil any of the areas for you guys because there's a lot of areas in this game where they just blew me away my first time playing. You know, I guess the place where you fight Saint Aldrich is absolutely not what you would expect. Like, you see him in the cinematic, and it's like this goop. No, it's so cool where you fight him. It's so interesting what he is too. I was completely taken by surprise, and I loved it, and that's why I don't want to spoil any of the areas for you guys because they are amazing. Dark Souls, you know, FromSoft, they stepped it up with these areas, so I think that they are probably better than they have been in any other game. So the verdict, I think Dark Souls 3 is quickly becoming my favorite Souls game at this point, and I definitely think it is worth a buy if you're a Souls veteran. If you're new to the Souls series, it's a great one to start with because it is very accessible. The game is not too difficult, but it is still difficult. You know, it eases you into it a lot more than Bloodborne did. And I guess in the in time I will see you guys in the summons and whatnot, which, you know, it's I haven't gotten a whole lot into the summoning. There's, I think, 2 to 3 different types of summon signs and different types of invaders and whatnot, so I haven't really gotten into the covenants that much, but I'm sure I will eventually, so I can't really comment on that. But so far I am loving this game, loving every minute of it, and I would love to see you guys on it, so it is definitely worth a buy. And I will see you guys next time in my next video, which will definitely be more Dark Souls 3.